Good afternoon and good evening to you guys. Welcome to the final edition of the Full 100 for the week. It's Friday the 20th of November, and today's show is dedicated solely to the COVID situation in Europe and across the world, as well as the United States. It's a huge situation right now. United States just hit 250,000 people yesterday, and already by this morning they're like a quarter, and they've already put in a couple of thousands. A couple of hundred deaths already. When I last checked, that's a huge number, 250,000 people, and it's sad because that country could have been saved just with the right leadership, rather than somebody who was denying it, got the whole world to think this is a hoax, and they're paying the price for it now severely. It's really sad to see. The good news for them is a new government coming in who has a totally normal view of what should be done about this. But I have to say, even now, as they're hitting these numbers, there are still states and government officials who are still fighting this, telling people to rise up against blue states who are trying to do the right thing. It's unbelievable. Without further ado, let's get down to today's show. Like I said, there is some good news, the vaccine. I've also got the last video I have is just to show you what the survival rate is now. We are now getting better at treating the virus. Of course that happens. You know, they're doing things like putting people, rather than putting them on ventilators, they're putting them on their stomachs just so they can breathe. I mean, these are things that you get to find out the more you work with something. Just like anything else. If you fix doors all your life, eventually you find better ways of, getting around it and making it shape better. Medicine is no different. So yes, there's good news that we're surviving more, and I'll bring you those statistics at the end. However, we're going through a horrible time, and I have to praise Europe, because Europe, they haven't suffered nothing like what could have been if we'd been stubborn. So guys, let me go to my first video right here. It's a quick just the stats on the US. Have a look.
Because more than 1 million new infections were logged in the United States in just the past week. Because more than 1 million children have now been infected in all, according to 2 medical associations. And because for Black and Latinx Americans, rates of hospitalizations are 4 times the white population, according to the CDC. But in South Dakota, both COVID and COVID denial are rampant, even among those dying of this disease.
And their last dying words are, this can't be happening, it's not real. And when they should be spending time FaceTiming their families, they're filled with anger and hatred.
The entire country is a hot zone. 2 former FDA commissioners just wrote in the Wall Street Journal, it's now up to governors to slow the spread.
Welcome back, guys. You see that nurse at the end of that video? Please go to my channel and have a look at the video of the South Dakota nurse. From that video, the full interviews on my channel, I've uploaded. It's about 5 minutes long. I couldn't put it on this, so there's only a short clip. That nurse's interview was so shocking. It was so shocking to someone like me that's seen everything. It was shocking. Her testimony is this, that there are people, you see her state? They're testing us 6 in every 10 positive. 60% positivity rate. Remember, New York shutting down on 3%. We're coming down to 1 point something percent. 60%. If you line 10 people up any part of the state, 6 of them have COVID. Because the governor wants to make them free. But the sad thing is that those people believe Trump. So this nurse is talking about, please, I need you to go and watch this. I need you guys to go and watch that video. Anyone who watches this video, when you finish watching this, go to my videos on my channel and have a look at that nurse's video. She's talking about people in their dying bed still denying that this COVID exists. They're saying, no, I can't have COVID because COVID is not real. I don't have COVID, it's not real. She's offering them to phone their family as they can see their oxygen levels are dropping. They know they're about to die. The nurses know this person's dying. And they're saying, do you want to speak to your family? No, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. No, there's no COVID. I don't have. Are you sure this isn't lung cancer? So they rather believe it's lung cancer than COVID's killing them. And this is how they're dying. And the last thing she said is, it's so sad to see them dying angry. Trump's people. The destruction that this guy's wreaked on the world is just incalculable. I swear to God. Take a look at that video. You need to, please. I urge you guys to go and see that, because you need to understand how this cancer of fake news is destroying lives. It really is. To my next video now, guys. This is what I'm talking about. You have the blue states. We know, I've brought you on this channel. The blue states have locked down. They've done the right thing. They brought their rates down. The red states is like, no, we're following Trump. No mask. No, let our people be free. They are now in stone. Then you still have Trump's government officials coming out because a blue state governor of Michigan has put them on restrictions again. So bars, not lockdown, bars shutting at 10 like over here, wear a mask mandatory and all of that. And Trump's top science guy, he's let go of the real guys. He's brought in a fake guy. He's not even an epidemiologist. He does see. This is who Trump replaced his experts with. This guy comes out and tells the people of Michigan to resist. This is 2 days before they hit 250,000 dead. So you still have people within Trump's government, his main spokesperson, telling the people of Michigan to resist and rise up. Unreal. Take a look at this video.
In Michigan, Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer announcing new restrictions, closing indoor dining in bars and restaurants, urging people to work from home and moving high school and college students to virtual learning. White House coronavirus task force advisor Dr. Scott Atlas criticizing these measures and suggesting residents to rise up in a tweet.
I'm not going to be bullied into not following reputable scientists and medical professionals.
Can you believe that? Can you imagine if the Welsh government was saying to Wales to lock down and put on masks, and the Home Secretary, Boris's person from the main government, telling people of Wales to rise up against the Welsh government, even though the Welsh are dying in droves from the same thing. That's what you just saw. It's unreal. This is how you know we're coming back to normality. Listen to how Biden deals with that. Take a look at this.
The only reason people question the vaccine now is because of Donald Trump. That's the reason why people are questioning the vaccine, because all the things he says and doesn't say, whether is it truthful, is it not truthful, the exaggerations. I think we're on a clear path now. The governor of Michigan, I mean, you know, the idea that the president's now existing, remaining advisor on COVID is saying that they should resist. What the hell's the matter with these guys? What is the matter with them? Resist. You know, every major individual of any consequence in the health field is saying we can save 100,000 lives just between now and January 21st by wearing these masks. I mean, what are they doing? It's totally irresponsible. Irresponsible. Ask a rhetorical question. Do you guys understand this? Does anybody understand why a governor would turn this into a political statement? It's about patriotism. It's about saving lives, for real.
Welcome back, guys. I mean, that's proper. This is what I mean when I talk about returning back to normality, right? Now, the Trumps, you know, I'm staying out of the election situation until the news headlines, but I needed to touch on a tweet that this guy tweeted out. He's been tweeting that he don't let history forget who discovered the vaccine, even though he didn't discover it. It just happened under his watch. But the funny thing is, he spent his whole time denying this thing exists anyway. He spent his whole time talking about the Democrats invented this. And on the 4th of November, the day after the election, we're now on the 20th, by the way, He spent his whole career talking about the day after the election, this thing's going to just disappear. It's the Democrats' plan. But yeah, he wants to claim credit for this, making the vaccine happen under his watch. Fair enough, give him credit for that. He was president while this thing was rushed through. But the reason I'm showing you guys this video will be apparent at the end, so take a look.
What Donald Trump is upset about is that he's worried that he's not going to get the proper credit for helping to develop a vaccine. Now, my commentary on this is a little mixed. Let me give you the details. So prior to the announcement of those breakthroughs with Pfizer and Moderna, Donald Trump had brainstormed with aides and close associates about ways he could promote the vaccine to the American people. According to two individuals with direct knowledge of his private comments, the president had said he envisioned large, public, mask-free events and rallies to celebrate the success of Operation Warp Speed, the public-private partnership to develop a vaccine. So this was his plan when he assumed he was going to get reelected. And now that he has not been reelected, he's fuming behind the scenes because once the widespread rollout of these vaccines happens in the late spring of 2021, Biden's likely to get credit for it as opposed to Donald Trump. Now, should Donald Trump get some credit for it? A little bit. And I'll explain why. But before I do, John, why don't you jump in?
Yeah, he's such an a-hole, man.
He is, he really is.
Like, yeah, we got a vaccine. Everybody gather and we got a vaccine. It's like announcing the cure for cancer inside of a microwave. Although he really needs to think this out because not that he's gone super public saying he should get credit. There's a few tweets and stuff like that. But in like 3 months, he's gonna be tweeting constantly about how nobody should take the vaccine because it's bad and it's like something.
Gosh, you're right.
He's 100%. And
right.
Fox News, by the way, is going to be telling everyone not to take the vaccine. It's the government getting into your bloodstream and everything. So not that they have to be consistent, their followers won't remember any of this anyway, but it's sort of rich that he just, for a very brief period of time, wants credit for something he hasn't shown interest in for months and will eventually be demagoguing against.
Welcome back, guys. If you paid attention to what they said, yeah, when John said it on TYT, I was like, oh yes. Now let me say what I'm saying. You see how he's tweeting right now, talking about I am the one who it was happening under my watch. I hope you all remember this. I hope you all remember this. This guy could easily switch in 3 months' time when Biden's doing great and they're curing this thing and people are. America's death rates are coming down and you could see progress. This guy could easily switch and start telling people not to take the vaccine. That's the kind of person he is. So let me just say this, and I won't say you heard it here first because those guys said it first. I'm only going to claim but I'm going to second it and remind you guys, don't be surprised that the same vaccine that he's loading right now and he wants credit for, don't be surprised by March, April next year. Some of you are sending me clips that the vaccine's killing people and it's deep state and they're getting your DNA, all coming from you know who. Let's see what happens. Let's move on to a quick look at Europe. Europe's in trouble as well. So guys, take a quick look at Europe.
The World Health Organization warns that Europe faces a tough 6 months ahead because of the coronavirus pandemic. New infections are holding steady or falling across much of Europe compared to last week, as you can see there. But those nations in red and orange have rising cases. Officials in Germany say infections are stabilizing, but are still much too high. In fact, the country just confirmed its highest ever daily number of new infections. Still, they say lockdowns are having an effect. Poland reported a record number of deaths Thursday, 637 people, and that broke the previous record of 603 deaths set just Wednesday. And a hospital surge in France. Officials say intensive care units are receiving a new COVID patient every 4 minutes. Sweden is suffering from a second coronavirus wave, and some doctors in the country are getting increasingly frustrated with the government strategy. Now, you might remember the country was an outlier in Europe, shunning a strict lockdown in the spring. Well, now the government is advising one, but not mandating it. And the doctors in the worst hit region are calling for stricter measures. So you can see here on the map the steep rise in confirmed coronavirus cases in Sweden over the recent weeks.
And Sweden's total death toll is more than 4 times the combined figure of its Nordic neighbours, all of which embraced tougher measures.
We're on to my last video now, and this is a bit of good news. I mean, I have to share this with you guys because it is statistics. The good news is we are getting better at treating this thing. The survival rates have gone right back up, but people are still dying. It's still a disease that's killing more people than any pandemics, any illness out there right now. In America, is the third behind heart failure and heart disease and things like that, but it's the third, and so it's quite serious. So guys, take a look at the progress we're making as a human race in general, because this is progress right across the world. People are sharing ideas on how better to treat people, but we are surviving more. So there is good news, all right, behind all of this. There is some good news, so please let me share that with you guys. Take a look.
One study of a New York City health system found that in March, 25.6% of hospitalized COVID-19 patients would end up dying. Imagine that, 1 in 4.
This is a very terrible virus. It's killing our people.
But by June, that mortality rate had dropped by more than 2/3 to 7.6%.
The number of deaths has not been increasing markedly.
And it's not just New York. In England, the fatality rate was around 6% in June, and by mid-August, it was 1.5%. One thing has become clear. If someone is infected with the novel coronavirus now, they are more likely to survive than back in the spring. But why? After all, the virus itself hasn't changed. But it turns out we have. For starters, about 75% of the people hospitalized were over the age of 50 back in March. Almost 40% had at least one underlying condition. Today, more than half of all newly infected people are under the age of 50, and they are significantly less likely to get sick. But even if patients do end up in the hospital, their care is now very different. We have an expanded toolkit. Drugs like remdesivir and monoclonal antibodies to stop the virus from replicating. The steroid dexamethasone. We are using blood thinners to help reduce clotting associated with COVID-19.
Welcome back, guys. That's good news. Right, I'm going to jump straight into the headlines now. First headline, again, I need you guys to go to my videos. I've uploaded a video on the CNN report on the Nigerian massacre. Now, I just tell you, I tried to air it. I had 2 videos when it first happened. But like I said, the US election just sucks up the air. Trump just sucks up the air on any news channel. I'm not the only one that gets bogged down by that stuff. So I wasn't able to air it at the time. So I've uploaded a full version of this video for you to go have a look. But the headline is this, that the Nigerian government's now calling the CNN's report from victims with videos and stuff. They're calling it fake news. Guess where they got it from? The Chinese have called news fake news. The Russians, oh my God! As soon as Trump said it, the Russians will call. Every government now jumps on calling the real newscasters and the real truth tellers fake news. Go take a look at that video, but it's despicable. Second headline, guys. Trump's cases in the court right now is at 29-1. He's lost or kicked out of court on 29 cases. And only one he's won, and that one was in Pennsylvania to exclude something like 500 votes in a state that he was winning by 140-something thousand votes. So, and lastly, Pfizer today have asked for the FDA approval in the United States. So once they get that tick, then it's all systems go. So we expect the vaccine to be hitting the UK around about December times, early December. So guys, I hope this has been informative. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Make your comments. Let us know what you think. Hit the subscribe button and tell those fake people that you cherish the truth tellers. This is the comeback of the truth tellers. I'll see you all on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.